So this is Team WillCodeForFood. Our project is the mobile lifeguard application on iOS. So our application focus is to provide a better communication channel between the lifeguard and Galveston. There's a few focus that we want to have is help them deal with the missing person issue, have them communicate faster than writing papers and deliver it to Lynx Tower. So for the last iteration, for the login and chat part, last iteration we had the issues that, if you recall, we pressed send a message, it wasn't getting sent. And that was being fixed. The reason for that is, you can try to demo it now. Get out of the way. So we're trying to test something to refactor it to make it testable. So we commented something out when we uncommented, we missed something, and we broke it. So now it's working. Yeah, so you see test down there is working now, as it should. So after that part is fixed we're still looking into mocking Twilio, trying to get the client to get the testing section continue. Like we have been on this. So we can look at the coverage right now that we're at 90% that we're trying to achieve a long time ago. And there's a really low one, like user section and message controller. That is where we get stuck because we failed to mock Twilio for a really, really long time. And we will have to continue working on it in hopes to get those covered and boost the rest of the testing to close to 100. So if we go back to the document for the database team, the get method was done quite a while ago, but I was transitioning to helping the chat team for the testing, and since we have seen no progress for a long time, the posts method is coming along. It's been testing, it's in the testing phase where it's make sure it's working before we implement it in the application. It's being finished in the playground with the test case. S3 is being refactored, it's functional, it's more tested. Like you see the report, the coverage report that the S3 section is also being covered close to 100%. And that's where we get up, like we're able to put it over 90% coverage. And extra layer authentication has been added. It's been checked on server side too, which is, I think it's done through the API, right? No?
Yeah, the notifications.
Yeah, something along the line. We test on the server side.
Right.
And it was easy to instantly have to be launched because it was accidentally removed by our sponsor and everything was down for like a few days. So that was unfortunate. And then for the iPad camera button errors, it's fixed it, then you showed the iPad. So now we can see a camera and camera row here. Let's skip button first. For the UI part, you want to go over the UI part?
Yeah, so for the UI part, we removed the icons because we were having a lot of trouble, I guess, putting constraints on them. So we had the 5S looking really, really good. But the problem was it's the XR, and some of the icons were actually showing up kind of like in the center, just like over here. And these three look good, and this one was just like right here. Which, I mean, we got the 5S working, but like this one looked bad. So we went ahead and just removed it completely. And that allowed us to add constraints to the rest of the iPhones and iPads. So we also went ahead and changed the marine mammal to marine animal. So as we have been kind of designing the form for the marine animal, or the marine animals, we noticed that not all of them are mammals, so it made sense to change it to an animal. So there's a couple of UI improvements we plan to make. So right here, you can see the text views are not the same, so we need to fix that. I mean, some of these right here, the weight's not the same, so we plan to get that fixed. We have the marine mammal form actually mocked up and ready to be implemented with TDD, and that's pretty much it. So no good. Yes, for notifications, I noticed that on a lot of iPhone applications, the search bar is actually hidden at first. Now it's completely gone. So if you pull down just slightly, the search bar pops up. and this kind of mimics a lot of real-world applications. So also, the notifications is now providing real data. So this is actually data from the database. We have Tom Sutton, Alex Fox, and the one thing that we did was change the time, because we have it as a server timestamp right now. So we actually put new fields in here to accurately display the time in like a human-readable format. So if you click here, the missing persons report. So if you actually click the notification now, it pops up with the report. So you can see that it's been significantly cleaned up. We have the font's a little bit bigger, it's more laid out, it's more spaced evenly. The one thing that we need to fix is kind of the line, this side right here. So also the reported by is just a number right now. So we have currently no good way to get the name or email. So we plan on leveraging Amazon Cognito to provide that information from the database itself. So instead of saying, reported by 11, which is us, it'll have our emails here or our names. And then right here, you can see it says 5 years old, white, female, black hair. So this is actually how the lifeguards talk on the walkie-talkies when a person's gotten missing. And this was actually a feature requested by the lifeguards. For the constraints, they've been added to most views. So this is the 5S right here. And you can see it looks a lot nicer. So we have the icons here, they're readable. There's no dots with missing text. The notification looks pretty good. We go back, some of the forms. You can see the button's not kind of off the screen now. One last thing is we have reduced the warnings from about 60-ish to about, I would say, 11? About 11, I think. And we're actually working to remove a couple of them are for the Cocoa Pods themselves. So if you click the Cocoa Pod, it's actually the code that's provided with the Cocoa Pod that's giving you an error or a warning. And we've continued improving code quality. So we broke up the Amazon S3 function, into several smaller ones. That way it's more modular. So if I come here to disturbance. So you see that these are now separate functions, whereas before they were one large function. So we've broken that up. You can also see that we removed most of the comments that weren't really necessary. But you see it's much cleaner, more modular. And you can see this across most of our code now. So if you come here, we do the same thing.
Before we wrap everything up, I want to go over the apps one more time. What functionality is we have, and it's still working, that we didn't break it or something in this iteration. So for notification, you have already seen if you click on a name, the stuff shows up. This is not to ESO Asian male, but something. Go back to the previous page, please. For missing person, like for missing person is the form. As you can see earlier, 5S is now added to the compatibility mode, and it's working now. Your slider, the sticker here is working. I take a picture. Will I open it? Please? Or I will photo. I don't want to see my face. Yeah, so now it just brings up a camera roll that you can select, and it just shows up here. And then if you click submit report, it's probably send it somewhere else. That part we still need to work on it because it was on the post request that you I just mentioned is in progress right now. And then just click on one of random form. Maybe okay. So it's similar situation that looks good, and you're just looking at one of them, but we're running into some tiny consistent issues that maybe this one is a little bit bigger than the other one. Or the other one is actually bigger than this one, I don't recall exactly. And then that needs to be fixed too. For the chat part, we have open channels, just click on it. So we have 3 of them. You click on it, it loads up the message. You'll be able to send. We have only 1 user right now because we have 1 simulator running, and that's kind of how things are working for us right now. I think just click on that too. Yeah, so it's kind of. So that chat is working for the next iteration. Goal that we want to achieve is have the post implemented in this instead of testing in a playground. For a UI part, we want to improve the consistency throughout the entire application instead of having maybe this button one or 2 pixels longer than the others. So we could expect that in the next iteration, which is final presentation, everything will look uniform. And for the chat part, yeah, we've been stuck on testing Twilio for a really long time, but that would remain as our priority goal for the UI and chat team. And we're planning on moving as much resource over and try to, in hopes that we can finish it, but we saw stuck on there for a really long time, so it's probably not gonna happen. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we want to have for what we have and what we will do in the future. Professor, you have any questions?
And then by refactoring the S3 for the code, we were able to leverage the use of AWS's asynchronous handling of the uploading the pictures. And so what that did was help us immensely in our code coverage, which is why we have about 99% coverage for the photo, the S3 part of the code.